Tutankhamun's life was a brief flicker, brilliant, enigmatic, and riddled with secrets that continue to captivate the modern world. Ascending to Egypt's throne at the tender age of just 9, he inherited a kingdom trembling under the weight of spiritual upheaval and political intrigue. His father, the radical pharaoh Akhenaten, had upended centuries of religious tradition by abandoning the pantheon of Egyptian gods in favor of the sole worship of Aten, the sun disk. When Tutankhamun assumed the mantle of pharaoh, the eyes of priests, generals, and commoners alike were upon him, searching for answers in uncertain times. But the boy king's reign would last just a decade. With his untimely death at 19, the mysteries surrounding his life, lineage, and passing only deepened. Through the marvels of modern science, DNA analysis, CT scans, and other forensic technologies, the secrets concealed beneath the golden mask have begun to surface, painting a picture both poignant and tragic. Genetic testing has revealed a dynasty plagued by the consequences of royal inbreeding. The pharaohs, ever desperate to keep their bloodline pure, often married within the family. Tutankhamun himself was the product of siblings. His parents, both children of Amenhotep III, were brother and sister. This incest, unremarkable in its own time, but catastrophic in its biological effects, set the stage for a host of ailments. Researchers found that Tutankhamun suffered from genetic diseases, manifesting in a clubfoot, a pronounced overbite, and a delicate frame. His left foot, twisted and crippled, would have made simple movement a challenge, and among his burial treasures were over 100 canes and walking sticks, tools likely used not out of pride, but necessity. But physical deformities were only part of his suffering. CT scans, passed gently across his fragile remains, have suggested that Tutankhamun endured a severe infection brought on by a broken leg. The injury itself was catastrophic, perhaps a result of an accident, a fall, or even foul play. Coupled with evidence of malaria parasites in his mummified tissues, it becomes clear that his final days were a confluence of suffering. Fever, pain, and the slow, irreversible march of infection likely claimed the young king, leaving an empty throne and a nation in mourning. His passing invited further speculation. Was this a simple twist of fate, or something more sinister? The ancient world was rife with intrigue, and royal succession in Egypt was no exception. Political rivals, court conspiracies, religious zealots. Many would have had reason to see the house of Tutankhamun extinguished. And so, the story of the boy king is one written in the margins, with secrets not just concealed by shifting sands and time, but encoded into the very bones and genes of those who wore the double crown. Yet as Tutankhamun's tomb lay undisturbed in the Valley of the Kings for millennia, its treasures and curses became legend, a magnet for explorers and misfortune. Nearly 33 centuries after Tutankhamun's burial, a chance discovery sent shockwaves through the modern world. In 1922, British archaeologist Howard Carter and his patron, Lord Carnarvon, uncovered the sealed tomb, its golden coffin and dazzling artifacts, untouched by thieves or time. The event ignited a frenzy of fascination and fear. Soon after the opening of the tomb, inexplicable deaths began to stalk those who had participated in the excavation. Lord Carnarvon, the expedition's chief sponsor, died abruptly just months later, his fate sealed by a mosquito bite that became infected. Newspapers around the world seized upon the narrative. The curse of the pharaohs had awakened. Over 20 deaths, each shrouded in mystery, were eventually linked to the tomb. Some perished from illness, others from accidents or suicides. The legend grew with each demise, a chilling echo of ancient warnings believed to be inscribed over royal tomb doors. Death will come on swift wings to him who disturbs the king's peace. But was there truly a curse, or merely the tapestry of coincidence woven into the fabric of human imagination? Scientists and skeptics have long debated the possibility of ancient chemical agents, deadly molds, and voracious bacteria thriving in the sealed, humid darkness of the tomb. Traces of toxic fungus and airborne pathogens have been detected in other Egyptian burial sites, lending credence to the idea that the so-called curse was biological, not supernatural. Yet, despite logical explanations, something about the sheer number of tragedies left people unsettled. The deaths defied odds, clustering too tightly around the event, fueling suspicions that psychological suggestion, or perhaps something else entirely, might be at work. Visitors and researchers reported eerie feelings, nightmares, and an oppressive sense of being watched. Whether the answer lies in the unseen hand of paranormal forces or in the intricate workings of the human mind, the legend of the pharaoh's curse refuses to die. Still, the wonders of Tutankhamun's tomb extend beyond gold and tragedy. Among the many grave goods, one artifact shimmered with strangeness, a blade unlike any other, forged from a metal not of this earth. The so-called meteoric iron dagger was crafted before humanity mastered the smelting of iron, and chemical analysis confirmed its extraterrestrial origin. The metal, derived from a meteorite, underscores the sophistication of the ancient Egyptians and their connection with the heavens. They recognized the unique qualities of the meteorite, honored its celestial origins, and transformed it into a weapon fit for a god-king. This was not the only object to beg a belief. Scattered across Egypt and other cradles of civilization are engravings on stone and clay, images whose meanings are lost to history. Some seem to depict objects far ahead of their time, cylindrical tubes resembling telescopes cast upward toward the stars, enigmatic shapes suggestive of surgery and transplants, vessels adorned with spiral designs echoing electrical coils or energy conductors. To the modern eye, they are tantalizing hints that knowledge may have existed far earlier, or that the ancients saw and understood things we can scarcely imagine. A still greater mystery stretches thousands of miles from Egypt, deep in the heart of Africa. In Gabon, scientists were stunned to discover what can only be described as a natural nuclear reactor, one that began operating 1.8 billion years ago. Embedded within the ancient rocks of Oklo, seams of uranium had achieved self-sustaining nuclear reactions long before the first human split the atom. For hundreds of millennia, these natural reactors emitted heat and radiation, punctuating the insentient landscape with cosmic fire. To conspiracy theorists and those hungry for proof of alien influence, such discoveries are irresistible. Was it a quirk of natural geology, or evidence that advanced intelligence once roamed the earth? The question lingers, threading its way through tales of pharaohs, curses, and cosmic mysteries. Everywhere we look, the ancient world offers up riddles, both terrestrial and celestial. Why did humanity's earliest rulers strive so hard to touch the sky, to align their monuments with the stars, to surround themselves in cosmic symbolism? The Egyptians placed meteorites in their sacred shrines, believed that the gods rode the Milky Way, and charted the heavens with mathematical precision. In placing a blade of iron from the stars in the hand of their boy king, they were making a profound statement. The pharaoh was not simply a mortal sovereign, but a bridge between the earthly and the divine. As we peer back through the ages, our attempts to untangle myth from reality often yield more questions than answers. Geneticists reveal the burdens carried within royal bloodlines, diseases born not just of human frailty, but of the very customs designed to preserve dynastic power. Medical imaging brings clarity to the causes of ancient deaths, yet in stripping away superstition, it sometimes reveals an emptiness where mystery once lay. But perhaps, in our search for certainty, we risk losing something essential. The ancients themselves thrived on ambiguity and awe, on the edge where faith, science, and wonder collide. The curse of the pharaohs serves as a parable, not simply of vengeance, but of the limits of human knowledge. whether interpreted as a warning against hubris or simply as the narrative arc of chance. It reminds us that not all answers are within our grasp. And then there are the cosmic enigmas, meteor blades, nuclear anomalies, and cryptic carvings, inviting us to expand our horizon of possibility. Each artifact, each site, draws a faint line connecting us to a world where the secrets of the universe were inscribed into stone, metal, and legend. Today, scientists continue to probe the past with ever more refined tools, sequencing the DNA of royal mummies, mapping the chemistry of ancient weapons, and deciphering inscriptions with artificial intelligence. Yet, for all our progress, the legacy of rulers like Tutankhamun remains as vibrant, as haunting, and as unanswerable as ever. What we do know is that the story of the boy king, his curse, and the mysteries of his age are not just relics for museums. They are mirrors reflecting our own desires, fears, and ceaseless curiosity. The obsession with Tutankhamun tells us as much about ourselves as about his time. The unending human need to question, to seek, and to believe there is always another secret waiting, just beneath the sand. In the end, the curses, the cosmic artifacts, and the tragic, luminous life of a young pharaoh remind us that the ancient world is alive with riddles and lessons. Some will be solved through science, others will linger, tantalizing and eternal, on the threshold between legend and reality.